Of all the field sports for which Britain is famous, there can be few that arouse such passion as fox hunting. Though a comparatively minor sport, hunting is increasing in popularity, and this despite a perennial tide of resistance. Although there are only a few areas where hunting is vital, as in hill farming communities, the role played by the sport in regulating the fox population throughout the rest of the country is considerable. The specific job of fox control belongs to the huntsman, and the hunt followers, who in effect underwrite this service, do so because they enjoy witnessing traditional country skills, seeing hounds work, and experiencing the pleasures of an exhilarating ride. Supporters of all field sports are aware that the likely death of a wild animal will occur. They've made the decision to take part and realize that others, who may not fully understand these sports, do not share their views. For some, hunting has held a magic since childhood. The Warwickshire hounds here in the heart of England are now the responsibility of Anthony Adams, who has made a career in hunt service.
It was when I left school, and then luckily I was lucky enough to go and get some riding lessons, and that's it. It started from there. And then I went to work in the stables at a hunt kennels, and that's how we got started. We just fell in love with it, I suppose. Did more hunting than school. That was the trouble. Skived off a lot. Yeah, every day that I could get off school or went hunting. When Mother and Father come to the school, because I'd filled this form in to say what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a hunt servant. They hadn't got a clue. I hadn't got a clue. They had to ask them what it was and what it involved, and thought I was a nutter, I think.
These kennels were purpose-built in the early 1800s with the help of local farmers, even though many were involved with the harvest at the time. Such was their enthusiasm for hunting. Generations of hounds have lived here, and today more than 100 make up the Warwickshire pack. The huntsman knows them all by name.
Pitcher, pitch, 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 come on. Pitch, 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 pitch. Go on, anyway, go on, there you go. Cobweb, 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 come on. Pintail.
In an area where hunting is carried on 4 days a week, the hounds need an occasional rest day, and Anthony will only be looking to take out about 25 couple to ensure good sport for the followers.
Satchel, satchel, you want to come? Satchel, satchel, satchel. Poppy, 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 poppy.
Throughout the history of hunting, there's always been a noticeable distinction between the fashionable packs and the more typical smaller hunts. Many of the packs have now evolved into a fairly universal form of hunting, a combination of business people, farmers, riders and followers, all enjoying the pleasures of open countryside and access to a lot of private land. The link between farmers and the local hunt has always been important, and never more so than now. As larger estates are broken up and more people own an ever-shrinking area of huntable country, cooperation is absolutely essential. One of the many roles of the modern-day master of foxhounds is to liaise with the landowners and farmers and advise them when the hunt will be in their area. Permission is always sought, and in most cases given.
You ready, Bill? We're good. Come on, Bill. Come along.
covers, which in some cases were deliberately created to preserve foxes to hunt, are now retained by farmers who could perhaps profit more by removing them to increase their arable land. But the hunt and its followers do much to maintain them, and they make good any damage caused by the day's sport. It may take a few minutes for the hounds to pick up the scent. Hunting a drag line or a false scent over a pre-planned route has often been considered an alternative to hunting a fox. But for many people, whether mounted or on foot, who enjoy watching hounds working, it's the unpredictable nature of the real chase that provides the excitement. Those that simply want a ride could certainly follow a false scent, but most farmers are reluctant to encourage drag hunting because invariably with set jumps and predictable lines, the same land would be used time and again and quickly ruined. But more importantly, it would play no part in the control of foxes. Hunters must still respect the strictures of modern farming and avoid riding over sown crops. Often they can find themselves doubling back along tracks and headlands, while the hounds are in direct pursuit of the fox. This fox has gone to ground, and it's the huntsman who will decide whether to give it best or put the terriers down. The fox is a burrowing animal, and its earths can be a network of underground tunnels. But the terrier man, with his tough little dogs, knows where most of the earths are, and they should soon find it.
Go, fellas. Well done there, boys. Come on now.
Over the centuries, the fox has been preserved from extinction largely by the hunting community. In some areas, the fox is a real threat to a hard-earned livelihood. Billy Bland has been a shepherd all his life and would never leave this beautiful part of England. He has a vested interest in fox control.
If it wasn't for foxhounds, I don't know what would happen. The fox worries here every spring. Goes with lambs every spring. This last three lambing times, we lost over 70 lambs by the fox. We lost 25 this spring, just gone. Foxhounds is the only answer. Johnny catches about 100 every year. If they stop hunting for about 4 seasons, you can say half of them's, 50 of them's vixens there. Now, if them 50 has cubs, 3, 4, 5 cubs they have, you know, there's going to be a lot of foxes in a few years running about in there once they stop hunting, and you've got to keep control of them. And foxhound is the only way up here, really, in these fells. I think it's a grand sport, fox hunting, you know. like to get out on the tops and sometimes holler the fox away and have maybe 30, 35 hounds going full cry after a fox through a fell breast. Nothing much nicer than that. I never shot them, and I never set any snares, so I think towns is the only way. Fairest way, anyways. Better than catching them in a snare. You know, sometimes you can, people maybe shoot at them and miss them, and you know, maybe just get a bit of lead in them, and they wander about maybe 6 weeks before they die. You know, gangare. You know, just dwindle away to nothing. That's cruel. Fox hunting's not cruel. No, it isn't.
Hunting in the fells resembles the earliest beginnings of the sport, when, in the 16th century, hounds were used predominantly to control vermin, and people hunted on foot. Johnny Richardson has walked this craggy landscape since childhood, and his reputation as a huntsman is fast turning him into a local celebrity. With his whipper-in, Barry Todhunter, he pursues his quarry with the hounds that are the direct descendants of the pack made famous by the legendary huntsman and drinker John Peel, immortalised in song and remembered more for his appetites than his hunting. The hounds are fed on an athletic diet of pottage, supplemented by a beef gravy. It's a light food which enables them to work this demanding terrain unknown to hounds in more conventional hunt countries. Johnny Richardson loves his hounds with a passion and has worn out many a pair of boots hunting them.
In the olden days, when there was bootmakers almost in every village, when I started hunting, and then the boots, they were handmade and hand sewn, and steel heels and steel toes on them. They lasted 2 years, and we walked everywhere we went. Today, you know, the leather isn't just, it is not the same as it was, and there's no steel corkers or toes, the same old steel studs as there was. And the life today of a boot, when we're hunting, is 6 months, where it used to be 2 years. I came here in 1939. No, came here in 1946.
46.
46 after the war. Aye. Whipped in patrol huntsman for 2 seasons, then I became huntsman. And I've hunted them ever since.
In the fells, hounds are taken from their own kennels to board at local farms close to the country where they're going to hunt. In this picturesque corner of England where Beatrix Potter lived, foot followers come from all over Britain, hoping to see a unique form of hunting. Following these hounds can be an invigorating experience for those prepared to follow the huntsman. But for the less energetic, watching from below can be just as much fun. Foxes live up on the top of the fells, but come down at night to feed. The meets here are held early, just as they were in John Peel's day, because at dawn the foxes climb back up to sleep off their supper, and the scent won't hold for long in these valleys. The huntsman takes his hounds up onto the scree, and the relationship with his whipper-in is perhaps more important here because of the unforgiving nature of the Lake District.
When we're drawing in the morning, Johnny, the huntsman, draws through below the bottom end of the fell. My job is to get out to the top, or the highest point if possible, and follow through above Johnny, the hounds, and then myself, so that if a fox is roused by the hounds, if he comes out and over the top of the fell, I'm in contention, hopefully. Whereas if the fox goes in down the valley, he's down in Johnny's quarter, you see. So we work it between ourselves. If we're both there with the hounds, that's all well and good. But if the hounds get away, hopefully there's either Johnny and myself with the hounds. And you've got to have a good working relationship between huntsman and whip in any part, but particularly in the fells, to be able to know more or less what each other's thinking. You've got to have the job between you if possible.
It's beautiful to be in these valleys. And beautiful to be together. We have a great understanding with one another. You know, and to guide 40 hounds through a fell breast, where there's everything, there's these little sheep running, there's hares, there's rabbits, there's everything running about, and them hounds, they're true to fox, true to fox's scent.
Typical Lake District weather out. Unfortunately, it's coming very black and stormy. Not really affecting the scent at all much. You know, the hounds, they run well considering it's wild and stormy, but the trouble is it's a terrible job to keep in contact with the hounds. Particularly on the top there, it's so wild and stormy that you're nearly bent down double trying to keep yourself on your feet. But the hounds, they're no bother at all. They did the job perfectly. The first fox, when he went out over the top of the crags, went over into the Borrowdale side and straight down the lake side virtually into some forestry at the bottom end of the valley here. We followed on down after them and met them all coming back finished. The hunt had finished, presumably they'd caught him by the signs and looks of things. But we brought those hounds back with us. When they were climbing out over the top, the rest of the pack were climbing to them to join in, but unfortunately or unfortunately, another fox got up out of the heather, which split the pack. You know, the hounds that were going to the first lot of hounds that found another fox. These hounds that are about here now are the hounds that went away originally with the first fox of the day.
But of course, fell hunting is unique. The sport is more usually associated with following on horseback. Here in Warwickshire, there's a lot to do at the kennels. And Anthony Adams is not the only one with responsibilities. A stable staff is employed to take care of some 18 hunt horses. And after early morning mucking out and feeding, the grooms ride out. Horses need to be kept fit if they're to last the season in peak condition. But the huntsman's main responsibility is to look after the hounds, and he has his own routine to keep.
We start at 7 in the morning, swirl down, walk out, sort out what hounds we would take hunting, and feed the rest hounds. Hopefully we will be done then by about 9.
In busy stables, a lot of hay and straw is needed, and in return for collecting fallen stock, whether it's useful as hound feed or not, the farmers are happy to provide most of it. Most farmers enjoy hunting and are prepared to help the kennels if the hunt cooperates with them. The work continues throughout the year, although the hunting season only runs from November to April. Spring is the time for breeding new hounds, and crossbreeding and careful pairing has developed into an intricate, if inexact, science. Different hounds are good for different countries, but there are certain distinctive features that breeders strive for.
Well, quality is what you need, or what you look for. It's not easy to come by. I mean, a hound like that, I mean, that's just a good sort. That's a sort, if you were going to breed a hound, that's what you'd look for. She's got a nice head, good shoulders, a nice strong back, and a straight stern. Not that that catches foxes. Oh, and another thing is good feet. They must have good feet. With all the work they do, if they've got bad feet, they won't last 5 minutes. If you bred from a bitch, she'd want to be a fairly good scented bitch with a good nose, got a lot of fox sense, and then hopefully it'll come out in its family. Of course, it doesn't always work like that. With the bad shoulders, you can see this bitch here. I mean, she's, you know, really thick, very heavy, turns her toes in just a little bit, which is not a good thing. She's got quite good feet, but as you can see, you don't need that. It's all, you know, too much. She wouldn't be able to gallop. She's got good strong back. Hocks aren't too good, I suppose. But hopefully, I mean, she's got a lot of fox sense. Good fox sense. She'd hunt a fox. But you're looking for something with a bit more quality than that.
Hi, Anthony. All right?
All right.
Fox hunting is not the only sport where hounds are bred for the chase. Long before foxes became the most popular challenge, hares were hunted to great effect.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. That'll do, rumpus. Bang it in.
A great variety of field sports are enjoyed today, and hunting with hounds is as popular as ever. Beagling for hares is perhaps the most widespread after fox hunting, and enthusiasts take a keen interest in each other's sports. Occasionally, the local beagle pack meets at the Warwickshire kennels. Anthony swaps his horse for a good pair of boots, and for a short break, finds time to follow.
Take your time.
The several whips flank the pack, and the followers can play a more active role than is possible in the Lake District. And they can do so at their own pace. Whether it's beagles, bassets or foxhounds, the huntsman's role is unique. Although employed by the masters, when a hunt begins, it is the huntsman who makes the decisions, and it is he who calls the tune. Hares are not burrowing creatures and spend their lives above ground. Beagles, like foxhounds, hunt by scent, not sight. and the huntsman must cast his hounds widely in an effort to find. Everyone keeps their eyes open. Once the hare is up, it has a tendency to run in large circles, so most of the followers get the chance to see some action during the day. There is no set time for the followers to go home, but when the calves get stiff and the fingers go numb, it's as good a time as any.
I think we'll do it on ponies, really.
The hunt has always been an integral part of country life and has a considerable effect on the local economy, employing many skills and trades and a great many people. Blacksmiths, vets, feed merchants, they all come to the kennels, and the day can be a long one for the staff.
Denise, help with feed. That's Falcons.
The horses are fed 3 or 4 times a day with an appetizing mixture of oats, bran and molasses to give it some flavour.
No, he's not.
After a hard day's hunting, they may even get a warm bran mash.
Jamie, Mr. B. I'll take this one then. Boris.
Horses need care all the year round, and as with any sport that involves animals, it requires the full-time dedication of those who look after them, not only during the season, but also during the less hectic times. The Industrial Revolution brought about great change, and in South Wales the discovery of coal transformed the landscape. The once privately owned mines produced coal barons, who, along with the farmers, ran their own hunts. But with nationalisation they slowly moved away, and the local people were able to take over the packs. Michael Whitby is a master of foxhounds and a milkman here in the Rhondda, a job that allows him plenty of time for his hunting. The local education officer and hunt secretary is Graham Dunn. He values the importance of the shaggy-looking Welsh hounds who have improved the bloodline of most packs in Britain. Too many hounds were being bred for looks, not performance, and the Welsh hounds gave them a sturdy conformation and a good nose. In this proudly modest hunt with its rugged pack, community spirit is much to the fore. Everyone lends a hand.
About 6 years ago, a property came on the market and 4 of us were able to buy it. We were able to lease it to the hunt at a nominal rent. Planning permission was obtained, and the members of the hunt themselves, who are skilled in sort of many trades, got together and built it. They built the kennels in the first year and the stables in the next year. It was a social event almost. people would turn up after work at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, do a couple of hours in the kennel, and then adjourn to the pub for a pint afterwards. It was the only way we get some of them to work there if they thought they could have a pint at the end of it. We never costed what it would have been to have a builder in to do it, but obviously it would have been far beyond our means. But we were able to make use of whatever our own members could offer.
One of the many reasons hunting appeals to people here is because it gives them an opportunity to leave a valley of smoking chimneys and ride out into the countryside. The fields aren't large, but extremely keen all the same. Whereas 150 years ago hunting was very much a male preserve and hunt clubs a sporting extension of men's dining clubs, today women and children make up a large proportion of the fields. The hunt makes less of a practical contribution to the farmers here because there is less carrion to feed to the hounds. But nevertheless, it provides a service to the community in its own way.
Flesh is a little bit of a problem in this area. It's not intensively farmed by any stretch of the imagination, so we don't get all that many casualties. Our hounds, for instance, for years existed on waste school dinners, and we had a collection round going, and it was quite good food. A neighbouring pack, I know, keeps its own waste Chinese takeaway food. It in some ways is a service itself.
In a small community like this, the club atmosphere of the hunt brings about a certain loyalty amongst its members.
30 years ago I started with Restaurant. I've been the oldest member with Restaurant. Only Robert Evans is older than me, hunting. And when I started, only farmers was in the pack. You had to be well known to get in Restaurant them days, for hunting. Because them days, you had to know a farmer get you member. And the membership was a guinea I used to pay. To now is 60. It makes a difference in hunting.
Well, I try and do 2 days a week if it fits in, like, but I put the business first before that. I can't complain, but to do, like.
I used to work shifts in the pit and it was inconvenient for hunting. There's no future left in the pits. So I decided to go out and try and make a better living for myself.
I can hear the gentle voices calling. Please take me home once again. The land of my fathers, our land serve me well. Please take me back once again.
It'll be a bit of time before hounds come here. It's quite a hack from the pub. The weather's holding up at the moment, and scent might be all right, but it's changeable. I don't know how long it'll be before it rains. This is a good place for a fox in the long grass. If he gets up here, though, it's a pretty good run, but if he goes to ground at the top, we've usually got to give him best. The earths there are so deep and big and strong, they're like nuclear bunkers.
The fox is, of course, hunted by the hounds, with guidance from the huntsmen and whips. As the sport became more popular and invited or paying guests wanted to follow, certain rules and conventions had to be introduced. Contrary to popular belief, the larger the field following, the more chance the fox has of getting away. An unruly field following a pack too closely can interfere with their work. The practice of giving the fox's tail or brush to the first follower at the kill was discontinued in the last century, as it encouraged irresponsible riding, and this in turn created a danger to the hounds. While the hounds are cast, the master in charge of the field must keep them out of the way to avoid spoiling the scent. The blown horn and the sometimes strangulated cries from the huntsman control the hounds and alert both his colleagues and the field as to what is happening. These sounds have developed into the language of hunting. A follower has seen the fox. The huntsman needs to move quickly so that his hounds can pick up the scent in this pouring rain. Even in these unlikely surroundings, foxes are to be found. After 200 yards, the pit, the office, the milk round and school are all forgotten. This fox, with several minutes in hand, manages to find cover in the deep crags, and they have to give him best. The less fashionable packs have probably been the saviour of fox hunting with their grassroots support, but there are many who enjoy being associated with more renowned packs and the opportunity to hunt over traditional grasslands where everyone turns out immaculately.
In hunt service, a professional man should look smart, yeah. A bit like going on parade, every bit. Clean and tidy, short hair, yeah. Clean and tidy, and well turned out. It's funny, a chap said to me one day on a railway line, and I was going down an old railway, disused railway line, drawing down this railway line, and he must have been a little bit anti-fox hunting, because he said something fairly nasty, and I said to him, "What do you dislike about it?" And he said, "I don't dislike the hunting side of it." He said, "I just can't understand why you dress up like you do. It's gear for riding a horse with. Why shouldn't we, you know, dress up to go fox hunting?" And after all, I mean, it's only the coat, really. It's only the colour of the coat. I mean, a hunting coat keeps the weather out. I mean, it's as good as a mat. It could rain all day, and you wouldn't get wet. I mean, different hunts wear different colours, coats. But I mean, most of it's safety. Breeches is sensible. The simple reason is that they're made to fit in the boot, and they're made for you, so they don't give you either a sore backside or sore legs. Because if you go exercise on a horse in a pair of jeans, the leathers on the saddle pinch you something terrible. So if you've got a good pair of boots and a decent pair of breeches, you don't suffer any of that. So there we are. But I mean, yes, it's nice to have a shiny pair of boots. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. But it depends what time you've got, really. I mean, I'm always excited about it, even if even though we hunt 4 days a week, and it mightn't be the best of meats. But yeah, you get I don't know whether it's butterflies or, you know, it's just a big day like tomorrow, for instance. Yeah, there'll be a lot of folk about, and there's a lot of pressure. Nobody knows any more than a huntsman that's gone on to pack a van, because you know, there's going to be a lot of people there, and they'll be there expecting a good day. So yes, a lot of butterflies, I suppose. Yeah.
It may be that the huntsman's job is to catch foxes, but he must also provide a good day for the field, and that puts a lot of pressure on him. There have always been traditionalists who ride to hunt, but for 200 years the bills have been paid, more often than not, by people who hunt to ride. Anthony Adams has to accommodate both. His butterflies are understandable. Ever since Hugo Mennel, master of the Quorn at the end of the 18th century, revolutionised hunting, breeding much faster hounds and starting later in the day when the fox, with his food digested, could run faster, it became a sport for the courageous. To Mennel's frustration, this more exciting pursuit attracted thrusters, and he then complained that large fields going at splitter Caucasian pace were spoiling his hunting.
You should do this every week.
Everyone assembles for 11 o'clock. Upwards of 150 may be mounted, and many more on foot. The venue is classic, and people come just to see the spectacle. The popularity of hunting is far from diminishing. Some follow to see nature at work, some for a challenge on horseback, and perhaps some for a little innocent social climbing. Things have been the same since before even Menel's day, as each succeeding generation has looked back, sometimes with rose-coloured spectacles, to a secure past and wanted to continue the traditions.
Because we had to jump into walking sweet.
A smart lawn meet is social in every sense of the word, and a drop of Dutch courage won't have gone amiss. For some, the plight of a hunted fox can be seen as unpalatable and unnecessary, while for others, hunting provides a thrilling experience rooted in the oldest traditions of the country. Foxes have been conserved for hunting, and ironically are now flourishing to the extent that the species can accommodate a total annual cull of about 25% of the population. Good hunting is dependent on good scenting conditions, and the huntsman will want to get started. As the day goes on, the fox's scent evaporates. It's relatively weak, and any variation in weather can affect it. The better the scent, the better the chances of a good run, and that's what the riders are hoping for. Those that have access to the countryside are lucky, and mounted hunt followers have more access than most. Whilst riders continue to respect this privilege, and the hunt and its supporters make good any damage that will inevitably occur, then the good relations between landowners and the hunt should continue. One thing is certain, however. Fox hunting can be a breathtaking experience. at the end of a spectacular and exciting run, this fox gets away, leaving the field tired but exhilarated, and one or two of them undoubtedly bruised. Anthony Adams has provided a memorable day. The debate about the ethics of hunting will continue. But for the moment, an individual still has the right to decide whether or not to participate in a sport rich in tradition and very much a part of life in the country.